Welcome back to Fast Track with me, Rajan Datar. Now, there are more than 300 rare wild animal species in Vietnam, many under the threat of extinction. An endangered species centre has been opened up to rescue and rehabilitate these animals back into the wild, offering visitors a rare chance to see them in their natural habitat. We travelled to Dao Tien in Cat Tien National Park in Vietnam.
We have three little girls, Trang, Misu and Nhi. My name is Marina Kenyon and I'm the director of Dao Tien, the Endangered Primate Species Centre. Cat Tien National Park is probably one of the best national parks in Vietnam now. It's becoming famous for its wildlife. One of the reasons it shines is because of its primates. We can support the Forestry Protection Department and take confiscated animals and give them a good home. In Vietnam, there's probably around 5,000 of these gibbons left, the golden cheek gibbon. In Cat Tien National Park, it's probably the largest remaining population. We did surveys here in 2005 and there was around 1,000 gibbons. We've been resurveying over the last few months and we're finding that in some areas the population's doubled. Here we have Lily, who's a beautiful, beautiful male, beautiful big male. Gibbons normally live to around 35 years and Lily's, he's now 23, of which he spent 18, 19 years in a cage. So pretty much most of his life is in a cage. So this is a really, really hard test. Can we actually rehabilitate Lily and get him back into the forest? This is a family of gibbons who are in the last legs of rehabilitation, ready for release, hopefully in about a month and a half. We first rescued them in 2007. We rescued them from next to the toilets, living in a small cage amongst rubble. At that point they were very malnourished, in terrible condition. They've had 6 months of tree training in a small semi-free area. You don't really think about it, but probably they've never actually been independently in the trees ever before in their life. They were hunted as babies while they were still carried by mum. So this is actually their first time they have to travel in a tree on their own, negotiate things. Lots of the gibbons come from tourist stops. Next to the toilets you'll have a cage with gibbons. It's illegal, it's very sad. The gibbons often don't live very long. Secondly, we also get lots from the pet trade. Rich Westerners who buy a gibbon as a pet, think it's cool for a while, then after a couple of years decide that they'd rather have their own baby and move the gibbon on. The gibbons get fed around 5 times a day. Gibbons are really hard to put weight on. They are like the ballerinas of the canopy. We try to keep everything as natural as possible in the enclosures, but we do allow hammocks. Hammocks are the best thing ever for gibbons. If you want to introduce gibbons to each other, you put a hammock in the cage and within 2 hours they'll be playing in the hammock.
Smaller, but gibbons still like them.
Yeah.
Although Dao Tien's a release centre, we do allow tourists. We provide fully guided tours. The reason for this is awareness is just as important sometimes as actually releasing the gibbons. In the last 2 years, tourism has slowly been growing. This last year we've had around 3,000.
It's genuine rainforest, something we've never been to before. You know, waking up to the gibbon call, the birds, the insects, everything.
There are some great animals to look at and sleeping in a tent overnight, it's very noisy.
Vietnam is at a kind of a point now where it can go either way. All the animals can disappear and it's gone and it'll just be known as this place where there was a war, or it can fight back and it's just on this brink now and we need to let it become famous for its animals.
A trip to Cat Tien National Park in South Vietnam there. Now to somewhere much, much cooler, the mountain ranges of Canada. We've all heard about skiing in the Rockies, but what about heli hiking? We sent Fast Track's reporter Brandy Janicic to Canada's Columbia Mountains to try it out.
experience starts just outside the town of Golden, British Columbia. The hiking I'm going to be doing in the Columbia Mountains is so remote that I have to take a helicopter to get there, and that's why it's called heli hiking.
On this 3-day trip, the places that we are traveling to by air would take the average hiker several days just to get to.
This is beautiful. I can't wait to hit those peaks. The scenery is incredible, unbelievable.
This is a grizzly habitat over here, and as I love to say, if the grizzly bear cannot live here, where else can it live? Huh? So I'll be yodeling around and making noise, and if we were to see one, you know, the last thing we want to do is to run away. That would confuse the bear. All right, all set? I'll go for a little bit of a walk.
The company I'm going with has been taking people skiing and hiking with the help of helicopters since the late 1960s. It's now the largest heli-skiing and heli-hiking company in the world, taking over 7,000 people to British Columbia's mountains each year.
This is my 5th time. From the first time that I came 6 years ago, we've only missed 1 year. Experience of a lifetime, really, you know.
There's something about being in a helicopter and just landing in the middle of nowhere, where you know only a helicopter can drop you off, and you just look and the scenery, you know, the blue sky, like it's amazing.
That was a great first hike on my first day here. I have to say, I think I'm hooked to heli hiking. You can feel the elevation a little bit, and it's a little bit difficult going up, but it's fantastic.
On day 2, it's all about glaciers and a thrill.
This is the second day of heli hiking for me, and so far, this place is definitely my favorite. Hiking here to the toe of Conrad Glacier at Iceberg Lake, it's spectacular. I've never seen anything like this. And for those who like to have a fast thrill, there's always zip lining across the Vowel Creek Canyon. Okay, here I go. Ooh, that is beautiful. Ah!
On day 3, it's the biggest test of all, the Via Ferrata. It's Italian for Iron Road. Used by soldiers in the First World War in the mountains of Italy, it's a mountain route with fixed cables, iron rungs, ladders, and bridges to help you climb.
This is awesome. It's just an amazing feeling to be able to accomplish climbing up these rocks, and that's my goal, and I'm going to do it.
All right, Brandy, up we go. Up we go. And we're gonna reach up and get that one. Oh, good. Guess what? What? I think you're gonna make it. That is gonna take you right to the top.
I did it. That was incredible. It was absolutely amazing just rappelling down there. It wasn't as scary as I imagined. It was just so much fun. Great views.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular, isn't it?
What a total reward.
You look like a pro.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well done, Brandy. And the last we heard, the rescue team had just left to help them both get down. And if you like that report, then tune in next week when we'll be looking back at the highlights of the Fast Track year, including more adrenaline-fueled adventures like that one. And for more travel stories, go to bbc.com/travel, where you can get into the Christmas spirit with a look at Britain's winter wonderland. And for something different, a feature on bourbon, bluegrass and barbecue in the American South. But for now, from me, Rajan Datta, and the rest of the Fast Track team, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.